Hi, this is Ben McClellan with the Yoga Business Mastermind course, and today we're going to be looking at higher level programs in our studios. Really, there's two reasons to have these programs. One is so that students can go through a process beyond group classes. The second is to create more revenue for your business. So what are higher level programs? Well, higher level programs are simply workshops, retreats, and any kind of in-depth study program. So the popular ones that we see are 200 or 500 hour programs. Some of them are teacher trainings, but they don't have to be. Okay, so that's what we're looking at in terms of higher level programs. And when we get to our tracking portion in a later segment, we're going to call this the metal element. Okay, so just kind of put that in the back of your mind. All right, so in looking at these higher level programs, and let's say it's a 200-hour program, for example, how are we going to find or put together the curriculum for this? And there are a couple ways to do it that I've seen and that I've used. One would be to start teaching some workshops with the intention of, okay, I'm going to use the material from these workshops to create my curriculum for my 200-hour program. It's a simple way to do it. And in fact, in a year of doing it that way, workshops, every month, maybe a couple a month, you could easily have your curriculum all set. So that's one way to do it. Another way to do it is to look at existing curriculums. There are organizations that you can affiliate with. There are individual teachers who perhaps would sell you usage rights for their curriculum. So that's another way to do it. The key is to not get paralyzed by having to create a curriculum or having to find a curriculum. Just decide which approach is going to work best for you and either create it or find a curriculum that resonates with you, that you purchase and that you offer at the studio. Now, there are also lots of other resources. There are people who will come in and teach portions of your 200-hour program if you like. There are online anatomy courses, for example. I've used the Leslie Kaminoff online anatomy course, and it's really a great resource. So just look and see what's out there so that if you're feeling pressure or like it's too much, you don't have to teach all of it yourself. Okay. So now let's look at, okay, who's going to teach this thing? Well, ideally it's a studio owner who teaches at their studio. Why? Well, students are going to be drawn to you more than any other teacher. Typically, that's how it goes. That's how I've seen it work. Now, you could also have one of your established staff members lead it. Perhaps you teach a portion of it, they teach a portion of it, and that's another good route to go. Now, we can also bring in an outside teacher to lead a course or to lead part of a course. I'm not the biggest fan of that, and here's why. If we're looking at our studio as a community, that we want to share our vision, in fact, if they don't share our vision, they're not going to be part of our community, or our community is not going to be as strong as it could be, then we're limiting ourselves in terms of strength, in terms of capabilities as a community. So ideally, it's you as studio owner teacher really leading this program. Now, again, it doesn't mean you can't have someone else come in and teach portions of it, but you be the main teacher, or again, one of your staff who shares in that vision of your community. It's going to be the best approach for both your students and for your business and the whole community. So then, how do we organize this thing? Well, there are a few ways. You'll see maybe the most popular way is to do one weekend intensive a month. What I have done in the past is I did a couple of Saturday intensives for 10 months out of the year. And that worked fine, but I just got tired of doing those long days. It wasn't working well for my schedule and for my needs. So I've shifted to doing more steady classes throughout the week that are specific to this 200-hour program. And then I'll have a few intensives throughout the year. So it's far less often, and it's more of a watery approach as opposed to diving in for all those hours on a weekend. And again, that was just a personal choice. So you have two options. Again, figure out which one you're going to implement that will support your preferred lifestyle. How do you want to live? How do you want your schedule to look? There are a few ways to charge for this. So we can charge one fee, a one-time payment, like a fire payment rather. Or you can make it a more watery, maybe it's 3 payments of X dollars. I will even spread it out over 12 months for students. Again, because my program tends to take 12 to 18 months to go through, that process works for me. If you prefer to get everything up front or just in a couple payments, that's fine too. So that's the payment structure. And then in terms of how to market this, well, I can tell you that I've tried marketing, I have marketed, but what I found to be the most useful and most effective is when I contact students and have a meeting with them. So how do I pick these students? Well, it's not random. You'll start to see these students in your community that sign up for most things that you do, or they're asking questions that would show that they're interested in learning more. So just starting to note those students will be helpful, because then when you have a program that you think would be a good fit for them, you can sit down and invite them. And that's really powerful. It's just a one-on-one meeting, maybe it's 10 to 15 minutes of your time, and you're inviting them into the program. Again, it has to line up with what they're looking for, what their needs and wants are, their desired outcome. But that's how I do it. And I've had great success filling my program through that method. I don't do a whole lot with flyers or Google ads, but you can certainly use those. I do think the FaceTime, the one-on-one personal invitation is going to be your most powerful tool, especially when it's such a large commitment, both time, money, etc. So that's how I would handle that process. Now, I often get the question from clients, well, should I be registered with Yoga Alliance? Again, this is really a personal decision, and some students will come to you and say, well, are you Yoga Alliance, registered in terms of your school? And so that may be important to them. But the thing is, you're taking them through a process, and that's the first point. If their main goal is to become a Yoga Alliance certified teacher, then that's necessary. But you need to weigh out, okay, well, is the time and money I have to invest to become Yoga Alliance registered in terms of as a teacher training school, is that worth it to me? Because I think you'll find that sometimes it is and sometimes it isn't. It's that simple. I'm fortunate to be affiliated with an organization who does that. They have the Yoga Alliance registration, and I work with them as an affiliate. So again, there's a lot of ways to do this. Don't let any of these steps stop you. In fact, just looking at it, take a step back. How do I want to do this as a studio owner? How is this going to fit into my preferred lifestyle? Those are the first things you look at. And then, okay, what's the next step? Well, it's leading a workshop. Okay, great. Then I develop my curriculum. Then it's starting to talk to students about this, inviting them, and so on and so forth. So the key piece here is have a program. Could be 10 hours to start, could be 50 hours, could be 100 hours, but have a program so that you can accomplish those two things of taking students through a deeper process. Now, it also, as a side benefit, takes you through a process, right? Because you have to prepare for this thing. You've got to know the material better than you have ever before. And then the second reason, it creates more revenue for our business, thus supporting our business, supporting our life, and there you have it. I will see you again soon. Namaste.